Calah Jackson is officially in Los Angeles. The McBee dynasty, Real American Cowboys cast member has traded in her cowboy boots for a pair of high heels in order to attend a movie premiere, and she could not be any happier about this. Calah took to her Instagram story earlier this week, where she documented all of the very exciting moments leading up to her attending the premiere. Stephen McBee Jr.'s ex-girlfriend first took to Instagram, where she posted a photo of her view from the inside of the airplane as she headed to LA. Once she landed, she grabbed a drink and some French fries at the Chateau Marmont Hotel, before heading to the drugstore to find a foundation to wear that evening, because it was the one thing she forgot. Because even the most prepared and seasoned travelers even forget something. Of course, the one thing I forgot is foundation, she wrote over the photo of her options. Calah was able to find the perfect shade of foundation for her before doing her makeup and getting dressed in a gorgeous light blue halter neck dress, which matched her blue eyes, to wear to the premiere. As she checked out her final makeup look, she was beyond impressed with her foundation choice. "I'm shook," she wrote. Once she was at the theater, Calah documented the special night. Premiere night, she wrote over the photo of the theater. "I was lucky enough to see this at Sundance earlier this year. Can't wait for it to hit theaters, it's so good." Calah Jackson shares more looks at her travels after Stephen McBee Jr. split. Traveling is just one of the many exciting things that is in store for Calah and her future, now that she is no longer with Stephen. On August 14, Calah documented her trip to Aspen with her dog, Rocco. "My sweet old man," she captioned a photo of her and the dog. "Had the best week in Colorado exploring with him." Calah spent most of the trip hiking, wine tasting, and eating delicious-looking food. "Life is good," she captioned an August 12 photo of her al-fresco lunch at Casa Tua. Inside Calah Jackson's relationship drama with Stephen McBee Jr. Before her recent travels, Calah had been navigating an on-and-off relationship with Stephen, as seen on the McBee Dynasty, Real American Cowboys Season 2. During Season 2, Episode 8, Stephen admitted that he relied on Calah for a lot of support during their relationship. "Calah was the person that I would go to escape all of my problems at work," he explained after they had broken up. "All of the weight of the farm is on my shoulders right now, and I don't have anyone to help me through it. We've obviously had our down moments, but we have had a lot of good moments too," he added. "Otherwise, I wouldn't be this stuck on it. When times are good, it makes you start thinking that you have a good relationship, and why not stay in it or get back in it?" The world below was a patchwork of green and brown, slowly giving way to the shimmering blue of the Pacific. Calah Jackson stared out the airplane window, her reflection a soft ghost over the landscape. For so long, her life had been defined by the wide open spaces of a different kind: dusty fields, cattle grids, and the rhythmic chug of farm equipment. Now, a different rhythm pulsed beneath her. The hum of the jet engines felt like a prelude, a rising note in a symphony that was just beginning. She thought about the cowboy boots, the ones she had carefully packed away in her suitcase, a memento of a life that felt both recent and miles away. It hadn't been a life she regretted, not entirely. It had been full of moments, both good and bad, as she and Stephen had navigated their on and off relationship. On the farm, everything was cyclical, predictable. But her heart had never quite fallen into that pattern. It had always yearned for something more, for a path of its own. Looking down at the sprawling grid of Los Angeles, a city of endless possibility, she felt a profound sense of relief. It wasn't just a trip, it was a destination. The landing was a gentle jolt, the wheels kissing the runway, and the world outside the window blurring into a new reality. The air that greeted her was warm and thick with the scent of something undefinable, maybe blooming jasmine and exhaust, a signature perfume of the city. She hailed a rideshare, watching the palm trees glide by, their silhouettes like elegant dancers against the sinking sun. The Chateau Marmont Hotel was a living legend, a place steeped in Hollywood lore. She settled into a cozy corner of the restaurant, a sense of quiet triumph settling over her. The simple act of ordering a glass of wine and a plate of golden, crispy French fries felt like a celebration. It was the first meal of her new chapter, and it was perfect. After the delicious and solitary feast, a small yet significant panic set in. She was a planner, a list maker, a person who never forgot a single item. Yet, as she began to unpack her makeup bag back in her hotel room, she found the empty space where her foundation should have been. Her heart dropped for a moment, the kind of irrational, frantic feeling that only a forgotten essential can trigger. She quickly pulled herself together, a small laugh escaping her lips. This was a story she'd be telling for years. I flew all the way to LA for a movie premiere, and the one thing I forgot was foundation. The thought made the situation feel less like a disaster and more like a charming human moment. With a determined glint in her blue eyes, she headed to a local drugstore. The fluorescent lights hummed over rows and rows of bottles, tubes, and compacts. It was an overwhelming display of choices, a far cry from the small-town stores she was used to. But she was up for the challenge. She meticulously tested shades on her wrist, looking for that elusive, perfect match. When she found it, a bottle with a creamy, luminous liquid inside, she felt a wave of satisfaction. "I'm shook," she thought, holding the bottle in her hand as if it were a rare and valuable artifact. She had found the one thing she needed, not just for her face, but for her confidence. Back in her room, a sense of anticipation grew with every brushstroke. She applied the new foundation, watching her skin take on a flawless, even tone. Her makeup was a canvas, and she was the artist. The final touch was the dress, a stunning, light blue halter neck gown that hugged her curves and flowed to the floor. As she slipped it on, she felt herself transform. The dress was the color of a clear summer sky, and it made her eyes, already a striking shade of sapphire, truly stand out. She did a final check in the mirror, turning from side to side. The woman looking back at her wasn't the one who had been struggling with a relationship. This woman was poised, elegant, and ready for her moment. The theater was a buzz of energy, a cascade of flashing lights and excited chatter. She walked the red carpet with a quiet confidence she hadn't known she possessed. The air was electric, thick with the shared anticipation of an audience about to experience a great story. Calah felt a rush of nostalgia as she remembered seeing this very film at Sundance. The feeling was surreal, the memory of that earlier trip layered over this new dazzling moment. Back then, her life was still tangled with Stevens, a mess of old habits and unresolved feelings. Now, standing here, she felt untethered and free. The movie was, as she had remembered, a masterpiece, but the real show was her own life. She thought about the photos she'd posted on her Instagram story, the view from the plane, the fries at the chateau, the row of foundations. It was a digital breadcrumb trail of her independence, a public declaration that she was no longer tied down. Traveling had become her new therapy, her new way of defining herself. Just a few weeks before, she had been in Aspen, high in the Rocky Mountains with her sweet old man, Rocco. The photos of him, the pure joy on his face as they explored Colorado together, were a testament to the simple, profound pleasures she was embracing. She'd spent her days hiking through fragrant pine forests, her evenings savoring wine and good food at a cozy outdoor cafe. She'd felt the sun on her skin and the weight of the world lift from her shoulders. "Life is good," she had captioned a photo, and she had meant it with every fiber of her being. But a part of her couldn't help but look back, not with sadness, but with a new sense of clarity. The memories of her relationship with Stephen were bittersweet. She remembered the good moments, the times when they were a team, a quiet partnership against the world. But she also remembered the drain, the constant feeling of holding everything together while he relied on her to be his escape. He had needed her to carry the emotional weight of the farm, to be his sanctuary from the burdens of his life. She had been so caught up in being his support system that she had forgotten to support herself. She had given so much of her energy to his problems that she had little left for her own aspirations. In a recent interview, he had spoken about how he was still stuck on it. It was a phrase that had resonated with her, but not in the way he had intended. She realized she had been stuck too, stuck in a cycle of breaking up and getting back together, of hoping for a future that was never truly in her hands. The weight of his problems had been her weight, too, a silent and ever-present anchor. Now, here in Los Angeles, surrounded by new sounds and sights, she felt that anchor dissolve. Her life was no longer a response to his needs. It was her own. As the credits rolled and the lights came up, Calah felt a deep sense of calm and a quiet excitement for what was to come.